You're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast on Digital Stream Radio.
Hey guys, today our guest is Skylar, a hip young actress chasing her dream in New York City. She'll join us a little later to talk about how she stays motivated and how parents can support their kids' dreams, especially if it's off the beaten path. So stick around. Hey everyone, you're listening to the Breezy Moms podcast, a weekly show that chronicles the adventures of motherhood. I'm Candace. Now let's start the show. Hey guys.
Hey.
How are you?
It is Thursday. I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am good. Can I just admit that I just heard my voice and I was like, I think I like this voice.
It's a very sensuous voice. So how are you, Miss Candace?
Well, I'm good, but I've got this like major frog in my throat and I thought, so excuse me because I'll be like choking on my own tongue. But I thought I was sick, and then I realized that it's hay fever season came early. Usually on the dot, I can count on May 1st. Like that's when it goes down. But it was really warm a couple weeks ago, like a few days. Yeah. And so everything just like hyperdrive started a couple weeks early. Lincoln is suffering. It's so hard to see your kid suffer. And I'm giving him as much medicine as I can, but he's, his eyes are all swollen. His face is swollen. Poor thing. The school nurse actually called today and I was like, do you want me to come and get him? And she said, I don't want to start a precedent of if you don't feel well, just like any little thing and then you'll get to go home.
Yeah.
And then it's the springtime, so they're trying really hard to get parents to really keep their kids in school. It's really easy as the weather warms up, and especially it's preschool, so nobody really thinks it's that important anyway. It'd be really easy to just keep them home a lot, but
But not only that, you said the magical words. It is spring, which means everything is springing. Mm-hmm. All the flowers are starting to come up, or at least all the early ones. All of the greenery and all of the perennials are starting to pop up, and the trees are sprouting. So I am going through it right now, and I've been going through it for the past 3 weeks. But I feel better today.
Good.
And I think it's because we had a lot of rain, and so it really pushed down the pollen level and all of that craziness. Kept it moderately
but it's almost like a
bearable.
It's like a duck and weave or I don't know if that's the right term, but a lot of rain will sort of wash away what's there already, but it definitely gives all the plants a hyper boost.
Yeah.
And so when that rain stops and they come back, like my front yard, I can't even lie, looks fucking plush. Okay.
That's the other thing. So springtime, if you put down your fertilizer in the fall and you've dropped some fertilizer in the spring, as soon as it starts raining, it's like that grass is on steroids.
Yes.
So I've already cut my grass once.
We need to. We really need to.
Yeah.
We really need to. I looked at it today and I was like, this is probably not good for the business.
It's like Simba can hide in there,
it really is. It does look like this tall grass. Somebody could hide in that grass. So, we definitely, and I do the True Green comes out, in the spring, from spring through the end of summer. And I've already had my first application. And because it was warm a couple weeks ago, there are already mosquitoes. But I'm so mad because True Green doesn't start their mosquito application until May, so I have to wait.
You'll survive.
Listen, I don't like mosquito bites, and I think that in my maturity, I have developed an allergy to mosquito bites because now they not only do they hurt just like regular mosquito bites do, but mine scar. They swell and then they scar. So.
Yeah, mine do too.
Which is why I started paying for it because I was like, listen, I have this body for hopefully a little while longer. I don't want mosquito bite scars. I already have enough problems.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. So it is Thursday. We are the Breezy Moms podcast. Well, at least she is. I help her out. And
you're a part of Breezy Moms. Stop it.
I'm like an unofficial mother, right? Without a uterus, but that's okay. No, but the thing is,
you're a fanboy.
I'm a fanboy. That's what
you
it is.
are.
No, I am the boy that unfortunately I have no choice. I have to be here. I'm the producer, right? And unless she fires me and gets someone else, and then I'd be devastated.
You like it here. Don't even try
it. I do. And so, no, it's Thursday, and, we're on all the things, Digital Stream Radio. We're on iTunes. We're on Stitcher Radio. We're also on Podbean, which is the host of your actual show.
I know.
And, of course, what's the other one? Spotify.
Spotify, yep. Google Play, TuneIn, all the places. If you ask Siri or Alexa to play the Breezy Mom podcast, it will play.
That's amazing.
Actually, I'm not sure about TuneIn anymore because I didn't upgrade because I was getting a little bit overwhelmed with all of the places to manage the show. But
yeah, there's a lot of places.
I think if you ask Siri and Alexa to play the Breezy Mom podcast, it will. Actually, why don't you try it? Next time you have a chance, just try it and see if it plays. And then hit us up on Facebook and let us know if it works.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought you were asking me to try. I was ready to try it. Anyway, so how are you?
I'm good. So I realized today that I have an unofficial, like, what would you call it? Like a hype system for when I'm coming on Thursday night. And I'm just in the car. First of all, I'm in James's electric car that has a big emblem of where you guys work on the side of it. And today, I don't know what was some twerk song with, I don't know what was going on.
Were you twerking?
But I was so hyped in the car, and people were driving, like, would pull up to me by the red light. And I was like, listen, I am living my whole best life in here. It just was fantastic. And then the other thing I realized is that I often tune into, I think it's 94.3. And around this time, they're playing some like oldies but goodies. And so this song came on from Cheryl Lynn. And Cheryl Lynn, like, I think it's 80s. And the song that came on is called Encore, and I wasn't familiar with that, but Cheryl Lynn sings the song Got to Be Real, and you know that song from the 80s, right?
It's got to be real. Of course I do, yes.
And so I just realized that when I'm getting hyped for something, I don't listen to current music. I listen to anything 90s and before, and it really just puts me in this zone, and the like syncopated drums and stuff from the 80s, it just really speaks to my whole soul.
That's exactly what disco is for me. Disco for me just makes me just go bananas.
I love
especially like 78, 79, that disco time period, where Donna Summer was really like big.
Yeah.
And it just drives me bananas.
I know. I don't know that much about.
And then 4 years later, they burned it all down in a stadium somewhere.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they had a big backlash against disco music, and they were taking all these records and they went into a stadium and just burned them all.
Oh, that sounds really
big pyre of music. And this was right over when it started transitioning into like the rock bands and the love rock bands with the long hair and stuff. Yeah, it was a disco boycott.
Wow. People are so like, it's okay for you to have your thing and for me to have my thing. Like, stay in your lane, leave me alone.
But it happens.
That's neither here nor there. But I just was thinking that it is so cool or so interesting how whatever the music of your youth is, which the 80s is not my youth, as my childhood, right? The music of my youth is the 90s and the early 2000s, and how no matter what is going on, like that feels like the music. Like that feels like music. Every other thing is trendy or whatever kind of trend. Yeah. But whenever you were turning of age and like having all your big ass feelings and all your big ass experiences at 13 or 17 or whatever it was, that feels like your life.
But you also have to keep in mind too that back then MTV was about music, video, television, and now it's all these reality shows and Real World that's like coming back.
Pressed to find a music video on
those
channels.
You can't. VH1 and MTV were built on videos. I remember, one of the first big major releases for videos was Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah,
and that was like an epic, movie. Yep. Pretty much.
I think I was too young to remember when it released, but
it was in 1985.
Yeah, I was too young for that.
I got the record for my birthday and the Michael Jackson jacket, and I loved it. It was the red one with all the zippers. I loved it.
No, I remember the music channel that was on, not the regular TV channels. It was like channel 13 or 14 or some like weird channel, and it started with the popcorn on the screen, and then there was, I feel like that's what MTV was. It started
with
like
the little TV,
and then the little TV.
Yeah, that was MTV.
And then when I was a little bit older, it was all about Midnight Love on BET. It was just like the jam
or TRL on MTV,
that was
right?
Yeah, that's when I was in high school.
And you had all the artists that would come out, and
and Free and AJ and Free on BET Live, BET. What was it called? It was a countdown on BET. It was AJM Free,
I don't
and
remember.
then Carson Daly was on MTV,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's just it's a cool thing to get like all nostalgic and how easily music puts you into that mode.
Mm-hmm.
And given that this is a like radio show, basically, you know, and it is about feeling and talking and chatting and stuff, like music just like I vibe the whole way here. The 25 minutes it takes to get here, I pull up. I like James is like, what are you fast and furiousing like in my electric car? I just am like whipping around town and I'm living my best life. So
It's the best.
it
So I have a
feels
question
good.
for you.
I'm listening.
How are your boys?
Okay, so the boys are good, although I just was saying how Lincoln is really suffering from some allergies, and I'm just trying to figure out. I'm gonna have to play around with the medicine, maybe try a couple of the different over-the-counter things to see, because most of the medicines for kids are one a day, and I was just talking to James about like how we figure out when the right time of day is for him, because if you give it to him at night, it'll help him sleep, but then it might be wearing off by the time he's in school when he really needs to be focused. And then if you give it to him in the morning, then it'll be wearing off at night, but then maybe you could top him off with a little bit of Benadryl. It's just like
But like seriously, who are we kidding? There's no focusing through that.
No.
As adults, we know what it's like to go through allergies and to be stuffed up and everything is running and your head feels like you're floating. There's no getting through that.
I know, poor baby. That's
and,
my baby.
And normally, isn't Emery the one that usually has the allergies?
No, it's Lincoln.
So it's Lincoln.
Yeah, so these kind of allergies generally don't start until like 4 or 5 years old. I think maybe if they're really severe, then maybe they would start a little bit earlier, but Lincoln's allergies really kicked in probably last year, and he's about 5 now.
Wow.
So, but I'm the one who has I have serious hay fever. I suffer from hay fever all the time. James has a little bit, as you know, as the pollen count gets worse every year, more people who've never been affected get affected. So in the last couple of years, it's started to bother James, but everyone in my family has seasonal allergies. We're all just like super sensitive to it. So I know it's probably coming for Emery, and if it doesn't, then we'll be super lucky. But
I hope not. I hope that little baby boy is good to go, because let me tell you, it's the worst.
It really is. So he's been struggling, but in general, they're super good. And the 2 of the boys in my program are like legitimately potty training, and I haven't been interested at all in starting the potty train process before 3 years old. I know a lot of people jump on it super early because like whatever reason, but I really don't want to. And the only reason I'm doing it now is because it's sort of a natural thing, given that these other 2 kids are training. And then the other piece is that when Lincoln's birthday is in March, so he turned 3, and then we started training in the summertime, and he still had the whole summer before school started to be ready. Emery's birthday is in July. So if I wait until he's 3, then I really only have 1 month to get him ready for school. So it's, it's a different ball game, but I'm just going to work with it, and we'll just figure it out, because I really feel like if you start too early, it just is a lot of added pressure and stress on the parent than needs to be. And there's no reason why your kid has to be potty trained at 2 years old. It's nice to be able to tell people, it's like a cool, like, kudos to you, but I don't have that kind of like stress tolerance for. And then once they are potty trained, your whole life, you have to stop what you're doing to take them to the bathroom when you're out, when you're doing, you know what I mean? And at 2 years old, I'm not ready for that. 3, I can start to, and if he gets potty trained, I can send him to camp, which would be fantastic. But, so yeah, the potty training thing is a big deal. And it's cool because it's a milestone, and we'll get there. And, kids are not 10 in diapers, so it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
It's obviously a conversation that resonates with a lot of people. We've got some people on our live stream that have commented and said that, like, for example, one of your commenters here has said that she would want to wait longer with her second one than she did with her first one, because as you said, sometimes you just don't need to put yourself through those burdens or strains of having to realize that, instead of them going on themselves, now that you have to bring them. And if you're in the middle of cooking, or if you're in the middle of a mall, or it's just like a lot of people don't realize the complexities of having to run around and do all this all at the same
And shout out to Kathleen for that comment. Thanks so much for tuning in, Kathleen.
I didn't want to name drop. So.
No, it's fine. Thanks so much, Kathleen. And it's super, it's real because, beyond, there's some feedback coming in, beyond the burden on my schedule, it's just if the kid is not ready, like I ask Emery and he's not ready. Today, he came into the room that I was in with his pants. I started putting him in pull-ups because the other boys are in pull-ups. And today he came into a room that I was in with the pants down, the pull-ups down, everything down. And he was like, I need to use the potty. He didn't actually use, but that's a first step in
recognizing.
In getting him to be interested in the potty. A week ago, he doesn't care that the other kids. He's very much aware of his own feelings and needs and wants, and he's like, I don't care what they're doing. I don't want to do that. Like, no, I don't want to sit on that thing. So, like, I want to recognize and honor that as much as I can. That does kind of bring me to, I'm going to tell a little side story and then we'll get back on track. The idea of honoring your kids and just being attuned to them, because I think so many times we think, oh, they're just kids and we can make them do whatever that they want. And I was listening to Dr. Shafali, who's a renowned, I don't know if she's a parenting expert or a child expert. I'm not sure, but she's an expert. And she was talking about how we forget that even children are whole, complete people. They have they have things to learn, but they are fully conscious people who have their own feelings and needs and wants, and whether they can manage them or not, it's still there. When I offer the baby in daycare some milk and she says no, if I offer it to her again, she flings it across the table. She's like, listen, I said I didn't want it. You know what I mean? And we get so caught up as adults thinking you must do this now because I'm the parent and I know what's best for you, that we enforce and force, ourselves on these little people, and they're little people. And as much as I really want to push them around sometimes, you just have to
back off.
You just have to back off. And the thing that really resonated with me with what Dr. Shafali said is she was talking about bedtime. She's like, the kids need a bedtime, but it doesn't need to be at 7:02. It doesn't need to be at 7:30 every single day. It needs to be at some point between 7 and 9, right? And you need to just get them there. And if you want them to go to sleep earlier than 9, then maybe you have to start earlier than 8, right? But you just need to help, those of you who aren't on Facebook Live can't see me, just kind of coaxing them into the direction that you want them to go. You can't just drag them there and plop them and put the pillow on top of their head.
Because
it's just
when the body's tired, and the body's ready for sleep,
right?
When it's ready for sleep,
and we all are.
Yeah, but you can do things to encourage the body to get ready for sleep, and that's maybe what you're talking about, and push them in that direction. But you can't force someone to shut their eyes and expect that they're going to fall asleep.
Right.
I'd be on the freaking bed, pillow to the pillow to the back of my head, just staring at the ceiling,
right.
wondering what I'm going to do the next day, which is typically what happens to me every night.
Exactly. And so related to potty training, you just can't force it. So I'm trying, it's part of my breezy motif, right? I'm trying to remind myself that it's okay for us to be on a different schedule than everybody else, even and including the kids in the daycare. So awesome. We'll figure it out. Shout out to Edgar, my cousin Edgar, who just joined the live stream. Thanks for joining.
It's a different element, right? It just
I know.
makes you feel all
it's very
weird
cool.
now.
I love it. Okay.
All right.
What else I don't think I had anything else to say. I'm going to save those other things for the end. Okay. So why don't we move on? We're going to move on to our guest, right? All right.
That's right. We have a guest.
All right, so here we go. Today, our guest joins us from my home base, New York City. She graduated from the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, where she won the Max Fisher Award for Most Improved.
Woot, woot.
What? A clear testament to how hard she works on her craft. She started out doing speech and debate in high school, and I first saw her perform at Yale, where she transformed into an old bag lady with just a hat. She was in a stage production of Rent and the film Strawberry Flavored Plastic, and has used her talent behind the scenes as the assistant director of an E.E. Wade stage piece called The Mad Mad Scientist play. She's also an amazing writer, and she writes prose and poetry for Knack magazine. In addition to all of this, she's fiercely loyal to her friends and family and knows how to rally the troops as the oldest of 3 younger brothers. She skateboards, she paints, she plays guitar, she tells the worst jokes, but it makes me love her more. I have the distinct pleasure of basically being her twin because we look so much alike, but she inspires me with her infectious enthusiasm more than she'll ever know. She's Black, gifted, and fabulous, and I'm proud to call her family. Skylar, thanks so much for being with us on the show tonight.
She's BBB.
Thank you for having me. I mean, it gets better every time you say it. So thank you for having me. Oh my goodness.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Definitely. I'm excited to be here.
Good.
Really.
Good. So, I just wanted to, we talked a little bit about this before, but I just wanted to say out loud that I'm so sorry for your loss. We both, I mean, you more than me, but we both lost like a really huge person in our family, my extended family, but your close family, our grandmother. I love that you guys call her grandmother, like some old English people.
Yes,
so bougie. So bougie, grandmother and grandfather. But we lost grandmother Alvira this week, and it's devastating. And so I just wanted to say that I love you so much, and to the whole the Frey clan, because it's a lot of y'all. Okay, it's a lot of y'all. But to the whole Frey clan, we're thinking about you, and I love you so much. And I'm so sorry that grandmother is gone. Even when you know it's coming, it's really hard.
Yeah, no, even when you know it's coming, it's even hard when it happens. Yeah. But thank you so much, Candace. It means a lot. Absolutely. You know, the continuous love and support is needed and appreciated.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to acknowledge that I wanted to check in with you a couple days ago and make sure that you knew we could reschedule if you needed to, but also in a time of grief that sometimes a distraction is welcome. So thank you so much for still agreeing to be here even soon after it happened.
Agreed. And I also wanted to express my condolences. I lost my grandmother in February, so I know the feeling.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Tommy. Really, really thank you. I appreciate that. You know.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. So you tell us a little bit about you and what you're working on in New York City.
Well, right now, I'm originally from Westchester, New York, but I'm currently residing in the city, as you've all learned. Mm-hmm. And right now, I've just been putting myself out there. I had a reading recently, where it was the name of it was a night of games, and I read for 2 plays, and they were fresh, brand new plays, and I don't know where they're gonna head to, but I'm hoping that the playwrights call me again when they're putting it up.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You just got to throw your hat out, right? You just got to see what sticks.
You really do got to see what sticks. And you know what? I didn't get to see it, but this past week, this graduating class from the academy I went to, they graduated, and Jeff Daniels was speaking.
Whoa! Jeff Daniels is the other Dumber Dumber one, right? The dumber one.
and Network. If you know his recent.
That's. I think more people will recognize him from Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But the Network was good.
That he what did you say?
I was saying the Network is good. It's a good show.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a keeper. Mm-hmm. It's heavy. But one of the things that someone told me that he said was that being an actor is a pain in the ass. Right. And I was just like, well, he's being very candid and very truthful when he says that, because, you know, putting yourself out there. So, I mean, I just went to an audition the other day for 12 Angry Women. They never called me back, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to realize that rejection comes with the gig, you know?
And build a thick skin about it.
Oh yeah. It's you mentioned speech and debate, and it's one of the things that I take away with me. Constructive criticism, whether it's communicated or not, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and so many people who, as just a modicum of encouragement, so many people who are doing super well right now all have the story of how many times they were rejected and told that they didn't have the right look or the right voice or the right name or the right sound or the right, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many people, and it's like all you need is that one yes, and you can't get to it until you go through a few no's. Like, yes never comes first.
Yeah, if it came first, then everyone could be an actor.
Yeah, and everyone can't.
No, I know.
Truth on a stick.
I know. I tried in high school for they were doing a production of a Raisin in the Sun, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm interested in this. I'd never been interested in acting ever a single minute of my life, and I went in and I did a lot of
I played
a lot of. Okay, well, I see that.
I played a drunk in 5th grade.
By accident?
No, on purpose.
Oh, in 5th grade. Okay.
Yeah, I went to Enrico Fermi School for the Performing Arts.
Okay.
In New York, in Yonkers. And so one of the plays that we had to do in school, I had to play a drunk, and they gave me a bottle.
In the 5th grade?
In the 5th grade. They gave me a beer bottle.
God.
And it was Low and Brown, I think it was the beer brand.
In a paper bag.
No, the bottle. And I'm literally sitting there just sipping water out of this beer bottle and walking all drunk and stuff in school. So, and
wow.
Then we did something on off Broadway. Like, our teacher brought us to one of the stages there, and we were supposed to do the scene, and my friend and I were playing sharks, right? But we were supposed to get on the floor and start like chomping, and I was like, I'm not getting down on that floor, so I just walked like this.
Oh my gosh. Classic.
And she was like, that's not what you were supposed to do. I said, but that's what I did.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
I would be sassy.
I would be horrible. Yeah. Oh, I was bad. I would be horrible at acting only because, taking direction is just really hard for me.
Yeah.
I hear you.
You just got to be willing to. But as of right now, I'm putting myself out there. I could say, honestly, it's dry right now, but that's okay.
That is okay.
Because it comes in waves. It really does.
When it rains, it pours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I saw the little, I don't want to say little, that sounds bad. Well, they are little. They're shorts, right? There was some shorts you did about, there was something with finding a penny and then like being a lucky penny or something. And then you were the person who was not getting any of the luck. That was hilarious. That was really, what was that one called?
That one's called, it has a new name now. See, it has a new name. It's called Heads and Tails.
Okay.
And basically it follows these two young New Yorkers, their roommates, and their misadventures in the city.
Ah, I love it. It was funny. What's it called now?
It's called Heads and Tails.
Okay, got it.
And I actually have news on that. We put a post out for on Backstage. We're looking for, camera people and production assistants. We got 5 people.
Ooh.
So we're meeting on Cinco de Mayo.
Ooh.
So
see, everybody is hustling. Everybody is hustling, and it may or may not be like camera people who are also just getting started or like, at the same stage. And you just, it's like the more work you do, the better shot you have. So
exactly.
Shoot your shot, dude. Shoot your shot.
Exactly.
Have you always wanted to be an actress?
Honestly, yes. Ever since I was a child. Ever since I was a kid, it was either like dressing up in my dad's clothes or my mom's clothes. And there's pictures, in the albums where you can see it. And, I always wanted to like get up and say something or ask someone a question or tell someone a story, but ever since I was a kid and, going through the motions through elementary, middle school, high school, drama club, chorus, musical theater, all that stuff, I followed my passion and I went to undergrad for a little while and studied acting in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I know people hear Santa Fe, New Mexico and they're like, what is out there? And I was like, well, they're
the school I went to.
New York, the school I went to between New York and LA, a lot of movies have been filmed there. You know, people, you can't just get stuck in theater, you know, because, I mean, if you want to make money, that's where you want to go film.
But not only that, though.
Yeah,
Santa Fe, New Mexico has like one of the best and most beautiful sunsets ever. And the scenery, I'm all for rustic and very like, I'm all about the oranges and the reds and the beautiful landscape that entire, you know, southwestern area of the U.S. has is just gorgeous.
And it's like you're in another part of the world, but you're right here. And it smells nice too, Tommy. It smells clean, you know? So, definitely. And, you know, and I have a network of people out there. So if I ever went back out there, I could say, hey, I'm here. You know, you need help, you know, with sound, with camera, you need extras, you need an actor. I'm here, you know. So.
Well, I love that you, like you could be a person who's like, oh, I only act. Like I only am in front of the camera. But I love that you are rounding yourself and getting familiar with all the different parts, because you can, you need someone to hold the camera. I can hold the camera. And then if someone gets sick, you need somebody in front of the camera. I could put down this camera. You know what I mean? Like it's such a smart move on your part. I love it. I love it. It's the hustle and the grind.
Exactly. And when the representation comes, then you have stuff to show. Like they're like, oh, what else art can you do? You know, so there's got to be more to the face, definitely. Okay. You know, but then, you know, then I came back home and I took a break, did the work thing for a little while and realized I wasn't doing what I love. And then, you know, did an indie movie here or there, Strawberry Flavored Plastic. You know, I did also December 1st, which is another project on the rocks, but I'm not in charge of it. Another director is. And then I found the Academy, got in, you know, and just did it. Did the whole thing, you know. And I can say that I could look back like 5-6 years now and say that I'm a different actor. Toward my work.
You're a different person. You're older now. You're like grown now. I love it. Well, how you're grown, but you're still pretty young, and so you're still fairly early in your journey. How do you stay motivated and through the nose, through the you know, the casting calls and all the auditions? How do you stay motivated? And what's your big dream?
I stay motivated by I go and I support others. That's a part of the gig. When Jeff Daniels said, what I heard when another person told me, they say that being an actor is a pain in the ass. Well, you can look at it from that point of view, that reality. But then you can also look at it from, hey, it's not just about me. It's a collaborative art. Go support other people, which I love doing. I love going to support other people's projects, their artistic endeavors, if they're singing in a concert, if they're acting in a show, if they're doing a reading, you know, whatever it is, you know, I love to go and support people, you know, because it's a part of the gig. If you don't support them, they don't support you.
Right.
You know, it's just, you got to you get on board with that. I love doing that. I go to yoga on the weekends, you know, I do that, you know, make sure that my joints are good, you know.
Yoga's for the mind and the body.
Exactly. I spend time with family. I get back to life. I go on walks, you know. It's good to get back to life as well. That's what the misconception is that, actors, they don't have time for family, or anytime they're performing, they don't have time. It's like, no, you make time for family, you know. That's what it is, you know.
So where do you find inspiration?
And thank you. You know, and it's just, it's a continuous journey, you know, with everything. You know, you just find you find things to preoccupy your time with, you know, you just really do. Like, I love going to gardens.
Oh, okay.
Like here in the city, like I just love going to gardens because it's just kind of, you get back to nature and you don't have to think about life.
And there's so much in New Like City too. Like when you go to Central Park, you have the conservative gardens there, right?
You do.
And they're gorgeous. I mean, when you walk in, the conservatory gardens is what they're called. And they're gorgeous. I think it's on, it's in Central Park, but you have to go, like, I believe Midtown all the way to like the end of the east side of the park, and you'll see them there in the corner.
Have you been to the High
I
Line yet?
love their daffodils.
Have you been to the High Line yet? I really
The
would
high,
like to
oh
get
yeah,
down there.
I love going there.
I've got to make a concerted effort to get there this summer, maybe, and take the boys and like spend a day. I think it would be incredible.
Yeah.
It's cool because it's like something that's ginormous and natural that didn't exist before. You know what I mean? Like I think it's pretty cool. So I would really love to go and see that.
Yeah, the High Line's beautiful, and you can see a very nice sunset over the cityscape, which is nice.
So I wanted to ask you a question. Obviously, you've done different forms of acting. You were in acting school. You went through. What is your favorite part? What type of acting is your favorite? Would you say theater? Would you say on-screen acting? What would you say is your favorite?
What would I say is my favorite? Honestly, being on stage. If I were to choose, it would be more. If I ever got the chance again to devise, like make theater out of nothing, and physical theater, like devising physical theater from scratch. It's one thing that I really loved doing in school. Physical theater, because like I'm a very physical person when it comes to moving on stage, and if I ever get a chance to do that again, like devise with a director out of nothing, just make something out of nothing, and if it's abstract or avant-garde, like something that people would come to look at and be just like, oh, that's a pretty picture that people are doing on stage. I'd love to be a part of that. I would say my favorite part is if we have a concept, making theater out of nothing. That's like my favorite.
So I don't know exactly what that means, and I'm looking at you, and people can't see you. You're like doing lots of movement. What does that mean, making theater out of nothing or physical
making theater? So like, let's say you had a concept of I don't know. Let's pick a subject. Currently, like climate change, right? That's like one thing. Well, how can we have 24 people? How can we tell a story about climate change? With actors, So
like words, creating the story, creating the play or the whatever, just from the very beginning.
Creating the play.
So when you say physical, it's like saying like using hand motions and sounds to tell the story. That's amazing. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people do like a lot of interpretive acting. To tell stories without people even knowing what the story is. Like I've been to places in where you would sit down and have a dinner and you have this whole conceptual thing happening in front of you and no one really knows what it's supposed to be, but you take from it what you think it is. And it's really cool. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's cool. And it sparks conversation. That's what you really want to leave people with. Just like interaction and in conversation,
Well, you're really good at the physical stuff because the last thing I saw you in, what was that thing called? The box store, the big box store one?
Oh, Bright New Boise.
Boise. So I love it because you were doing a little bit of like, I don't know if that was a Caribbean accent or like a Caribbean American thing, but more than the accent was just like the faces that you would make when something incredulous was happening or something ridiculous or somebody annoyed you. I was like, oh, that's my aunt's face. Oh my God, I've seen Uncle Steven to make that face. Like they were so cool that they were so specific and particular to the moment, and then because I know you, I know where the inspiration for that came from, and it was just incredible. It's incredible, and there were no words. You didn't say anything, so it's like beyond the accent. It was just the physicality of how you would lock the door so everybody couldn't get out of the room because you were pissed off at everybody. I was like, oh, I've seen my mom do that before. Like it's just hilarious.
So wasn't the show wasn't the show that she did going on right around the same time you did your mom's trip?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was part of I don't remember what I called it, the Breezy Moms weekend or something. I don't know what it was called. Now I forget. I need to be better at remembering the little branding things. But that was the weekend that I went, the overnight I did with Carolyn.
That's right.
In the city, and Skylar's show was part of that. And it was just, and we saw the show twice. At least I saw the show twice. So it was, it was incredible. And that was the night we got to see, Michael Sheen. Yes. Michael Sheen. That was pretty cool. I was like, oh my God, those are the boots from Underworld. Like, that literally the boots he was wearing, like the chunky leather, boots, was the way that I was certain it was Michael Sheen. I was like, I'm not sure if this is the same guy, but then I saw his boots and I was like, oh, that's definitely Michael Sheen.
Wow, that's so funny because you love Underworld. You're obsessed with it.
I love. Anytime I don't know what I'm gonna watch, I don't know what I want to do, but I just kind of want to sit and veg. I could pick any Underworld movie and just enjoy my life. Yeah,
I love me some Underworld.
Yeah, I love it.
It's like the best. Awakening, all of them,
and some of them are ridiculous. Like, I don't want to say the R word, but some of them are stupid, but I still love everything about them. The last one, is that one Awakening?
No, Bloodline.
Bloodline was terrible, but I loved every minute of it. Bloodline was terrible, but I loved every single minute of it.
They had the actor from Game of Thrones was on there.
Which one?
I can't. He played
the werewolf.
No, he plays Tywin Lannister on Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. Hand. Something Hand.
Yeah, he's the Hand of the King.
No, but his name is Hand, or his name is a body part.
Really?
Littlefinger.
No. His real name. So Tywin Lannister, he's also from The Golden Child. That's how I know him. And I feel like anybody in my age bracket knows him from the Eddie Murphy movie, The Golden Child. He's Brother Numsy. He's like the bad guy. His name is a body part. It's like something Hand or something. Yeah. He's in it. It's still terrible. I think he's in 2 of them and they're still terrible, but I love it. My favorite one is probably the first one and the Lycan one. The one that Michael Sheen stars in.
I have to tell you though, Kate Beckinsale, is that her name? She's badass.
She is.
Doing action films, like I equate her to Mira Jovovich, I believe it, something like that.
Mila
Jovovich.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking
from Resident
about.
Evil.
She's the one that does the Resident Evil movies. Yeah. Like, these 2 ladies are amazing.
No, she does Resident Evil, but she was also Lilu in Fifth Element.
That's right. Yeah. And they are physically, when you think about how physical these ladies get, it is just amazing to see, because they're badass. I'm sorry. They are badass really and amazing. And I am in awe watching her do all her stunts and stuff, but she's great.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking for, and someone correct me if because I'm probably wrong, but I'm looking for someone who's a person of color in these roles, right? So, like, I love Mila Jovovich, and I love, what did we just say her name is from Underworld?
Kate Beckinsale.
But like when Halle Berry tried to be Catwoman, that was terrible. When Halle Berry was Storm,
be the next Laura Croft.
It was it just we need a badass brown girl on TV, like kicking ass and taking names. Like, and so I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it because we keep trying. I feel like the closest might be Jada Pinkett in Matrix. She was pretty badass, but that was just the 1 or 2 times. So
what about Breakin' with Gabrielle Union?
Yeah, that's
a good movie. She might be the girl you're looking for.
She might be. I fell asleep, so I haven't seen the whole movie. Well, I didn't set out to watch it. Listen, we're getting derailed. I know, but literally, James just put it on 2 nights ago, and I was like, I cannot dance.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's not a body part. All right. But it's a name that's not a name. It's like a thing.
I had to find this name, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, we totally got derailed. I will watch that Gabrielle Union movie because she is cool. I want to see her in a strong role like that. Where were we going with that? I forget we were going, but what I want to do is bring us back around because this is a parenting lifestyle show. And the reason why I brought you on is because thinking from this point where my kids are really young, I want to make sure that I am doing the best that I can to allow them to be the people that they want to be and go after the things that they want to go after and not get stuck or caught up in like the only way you can succeed is if you are a doctor, lawyer, engineer. You know, like I don't want to do that to them. I want them to be successful and I want them to be happy. So I also don't want to unfairly position successful against like creative, because that's not what I intend to do, because I totally know that you can be both successful and creative at the same time. But it's not generally, people are like, oh, you did art history in school. Like, how are you going to make it? Like, what are you going to do? So as a person who is creative, when you're thinking about the things that your parents did for you to like encourage you and strengthen your resolve that this is really who you wanted to be, and you felt like you had the freedom and the support to do it, what are like 2 or 3 of the things that you can think of that your parents did knowingly or unknowingly to help you, like, to give you the freedom to go after this dream?
Well, honestly, they just let me play. You understand? They I mean, like, within their everyday values and, you know, the rules that they had, you know, we went to church every Sunday, you know, but they let me play and create and paint and draw and you know, expose that when the opportunity was right. So the vehicle was school, you know. I remember back in second grade, like, I did this talent show with like 4 other kids in my neighborhood, and my mom, my dad, my aunt Bev, we ran with that idea. And, you know, it was before lip syncing battle came to be. You know, we were the first lip syncers now. But like, it was Where in the World is Carmen San Diego, that theme song. And we ran with it. And I felt very creative in that moment. But I knew at that moment that's why I wanted to be on stage. But I knew that my parents were there for me during that process. You know, my mom was also my Girl Scout troop leader, you know, volunteering, being a part of a community, you know, speaking up for yourself, standing up for yourself, all these like values, everyday values, these stepping stones, these golden rules in life, you know, I learned by example, you know, by what I saw, you know, and that it was okay to make a mistake, you know, within being creative, you know, that you can always try again. Oh, they said no, try again, you know, open your mouth and speak up for yourself. You know, my father, he was my softball coach. He taught me teamwork. You know, he really, I saw a leader in him, and the boys also saw a leader in him when they did Boy Scouts. But in that, I saw a leader in him, and that, you know, practice makes perfect. So like in regards to acting, you know, going over those lines, going over those monologues, getting ready for those auditions, practice makes perfect. You know, we're not perfect, but in the moment you can find that moment of perfection and be like, oh, I did the thing. I did it. And if it didn't work out, try again.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what I'm hearing from you is that it doesn't have to be that you started that. I mean, in this case, you did start acting in the second grade and sort of like found it to be a thing you wanted to do, but we don't have to identify the thing for our kid at 10 years old. Like, we can just let them be in all these other, like, there are lessons to be learned in all these other situations that then will play into how capable and confident you are in your own abilities through softball, through Girl Scouts, through church, through all of those things that then make you able to take on acting in a well-rounded and like adjusted kind of way.
Oh yeah.
Because I think parents often, like even I right now, we just started Lincoln in what's this thing called, flag football, and it's the only thing that I'm doing with him right now because I don't want to overwhelm myself. But some people are doing swimming and they're doing soccer and they're doing football or they pick hockey and like everything is about hockey, and the kid is 5 and you've just like pigeonholed them into this thing right now because that's what you think you want them to be good at. And then maybe you, in your quest to make them really good at that one thing, you're actually making them hate it. and then, and then they really don't want to do it. Whereas if you sort of allow them to do a lot of different things and direct them and give them these life skills that you're talking about, practice makes perfect, and try and don't give up, and like those kinds of things, then they can use those. They can use those lessons.
It's those things that they take away. It's those things that remind them as they get older. As I get, as you get older, you just remember those little golden nuggets, those little things that were annoying, but they help you in the long run.
Shout out to your annoying parents.
I love you guys. I love you.
Love you.
Oh, that's funny.
I love it. Okay, sorry, I got distracted.
Sure.
So what advice would you give to parents? I guess we kind of talked about that, but is there like a succinct one or two things you would say to parents?
I dropped my phone on the computer and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to stop something.
Yes, double check the numbers. Make sure the numbers.
Everything is
okay. We're all good. We're not going to talk about it. So anyway, what's your advice?
My advice to parents is, 1, let your kids play, and if they fall, let them get back up. Don't freak out unless there's blood. Don't freak out, but let them get back up and realize that everything's okay. Let them play. Let them create. Let them make mistakes. Also, 2, tell your kids not everyone will like you. The only reason why is that something recently happened today. I was walking down Korea Way, walking home to my place, and I saw someone that I knew in the industry, and I waved hello. And I guess they were in their zone or they had a long day, but they didn't wave back, or they didn't see me or chose not to see me, whatever it is. I was just like, in that moment, not everyone will like you, and that is okay.
That's good.
You do you.
Do you, boo-boo.
Yes, you really do. At the end of the day, not everyone will. And tell your kids, parents, tell your kids that,
And that it's okay, because that could derail you if you had all your plans for the night of how you were going to work on your thing, or like reach out to so-and-so, and something like that could derail you. And then you mess up yourself because of some other person's like jerkiness.
Yeah. No, truly. I look at it as that you shouldn't allow people to steal your joy, because when they see your joy and they don't like it, it's just reflecting on their demons that they're battling inside of them. Honestly, it really is. So.
And I've always thought that encouraging arts in children anyway is a good way to one, nourish their creativity, and it also allows for the mind to really manifest itself in being able to imagine yourself being able to create characters and create worlds in your mind and put yourself in someone else's shoes mentally, right? Because that's what you're doing when you're acting, is you're literally taking yourself out of the equation and building someone else, or reading something and trying to admit what that character is from paper to film. And so when you encourage children to do art, even for example in music, music education, we used to have these big campaigns like music education equals like brain power, right? It's the same thing when you allow your child to creatively explore the arts, whether that's painting, acting, singing, because it allows them to really find something that is unique for them. And not many people have that gift, right? And they also learn to appreciate themselves too when they're getting really good feedback and they're able to execute these roles that they're reading and manifesting with themselves. It just allows them to really overall become better humans.
I guess that just brings me to my last question, which is for you, but also just in general, like, how would you know, or would anything ever make you not want to do acting anymore? Like, do you think that something could happen that was like, okay, maybe I thought acting was for me and it's not. Like, I feel like it's also important to know, I'm struggling with this, right? Because you don't want to tell people to give up, right? But you have for your own sanity, for your own like peace of mind. Like, how would you reconcile if you got to a point where you're like, you know what, maybe I don't want to do acting anymore?
Well,
Like,
I mean,
how would you like exit?
Yeah. Well, it's acting right now. That's why I say, like, sure, I'm an actor, but I'm also an artist. So at the end of the day, if I'm still creating art, whether it be through education, whether it be through therapy, whether it be through social work, whatever it is, if I'm creating art and giving someone an experience that they can forget about, you know, the woes of life for a while, because that's what an actor does. That's what an artist does. They give of themselves and hopefully leave people with an experience or an impression or a feeling. You
Like
know,
a
if I'm
reprieve.
giving and creating and making art, whether it's through acting or not, in the grand scheme of it all, like, you know, the whole, let's say the theory of it all, you know, being an artist and, you know, that I'll be happy, you know, honestly.
So it's like finding whatever your real North Star is.
Finding your path.
So right now,
it changes.
yeah. So right now, acting is the vehicle, right? But the North Star for you is creating and providing this, you know, moment of reprieve or this moment of, you know, distraction and like a positive distraction
or
for people.
a service. We're giving a service to people, honestly.
Absolutely.
You know, all those people. Like, I mean, we can look at Flo, or you can look at the Trivago guy. You know, they're giving a service.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So
you know.
it's the drive or the North Star or the whatever the metaphor is, but like whatever your purpose is, don't be so fixated on the vehicle that gets you there, because that might change. But focusing on your focus and then pivoting when you need to, wherever that might take you, as long as it's always taking you in that direction. I really like that. I really like that. And as a parent, I really like the idea of trying to get, and I guess I should stop thinking about it as trying to get. I guess it's just like allowing my children. Allowing my children, giving them space to find their north and then helping them get there if they need it.
Yeah.
So thank you. Well, where can people find you? Where can people find you and follow your journey?
Let's do a little bit of plugging.
Yes, I love it. Shameless over here.
Shameless plugging. Well, people can find me on Instagram at I'm Skylar Frey. It's all lowercase, no spaces. I'm Skylar Frey. And they can also find me on Twitter at Skylar A. Frey, and also on my website at www.skylarfrey.com. I love saying that. www.skylarfrey.com. And that's where you can find me and follow me on my journey.
Absolutely. Well, Skylar, you are a joy. I love you so much. Thank you for being on the show tonight and for sharing your sharing yourself with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Come back anytime.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Yes.
I will see you at Family Day. It's coming up soon.
Yes, you will.
See you then.
What were you saying, Tommy?
Oh, no, what I was going to say, thank you for joining us. And if you're doing any shorts or anything, coming up or any web series or things like that, let us know. We can plug it on the page and, tell people about it. And, absolutely. You've got something coming up in the city and we've got listeners there. We'll tell them too.
Great. Thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, have a good night, and I will talk to you soon. I'll see you on Saturday.
Yes.
All right. Bye. Isn't she lovely?
I love her. I really do. I love her energy. I love the fact that she's so positive and, because as she said, being in the acting community, it's not an easy job to do.
No.
You're not going to start acting and immediately be like, what's her face? Drew Barrymore, who at 12, she was Firestarter and got on ET.
Yeah, she was younger than that.
She was younger than that.
On ET.
I mean, I think she had her first drink at 12. That's
right,
what it was. No, but it's not easy, and so you're not going to be like a Drew Barrymore right away. It takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication, and a lot of jobs. Mm-hmm. I know I have a lot of actor friends that say to me, one of the most fulfilling parts of being an actor is when you get that gig that can get you through that time when you don't have a gig and you have to resort to doing other work. And so that tends to be a little difficult, but once you make it, you make it.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is just hang strong and push and get through it.
I love it.
Get through it, baby.
Get through it. Get through the hard times.
So we were talking about earlier, you had mentioned something about how children need to be given the space to be who they are and stuff like that. And because we're doing this new thing with Facebook Live, right? Hi, everyone on Facebook Live. And you can join us too if you're listening on our live stream. You can just jump on over to the Breezy Moms podcast page and watch us do our show live. One of our Facebook Live watchers actually put down and said, I like what you said at the start of the show, that little people who have a mind of their own and need to be given that space and are willing to listen, we need to be ready to listen at that age and let them really manifest who they are, because that helps them, that shapes their lives. And I wanted a little bit more input on that from you, because I know that you're a mother. I can't really tell you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it plays in really well to what we were talking about earlier about with like potty training, right? I asked Emery if he wants to go, and he goes, "No, I don't want to do that." So I said, "All right." Like, it's not, there are some things that you want to, for lack of a better term, like you have to die on the hill, right? You have to wear your seatbelt. Like, you just have to. There's some things that are hard, like you just have to do it. And almost everything else is negotiable, right? Like, you have to go to sleep. I mean, you have to get out of my face. That actually I learned from Skylar's mom, my Aunt Dawn.
I love it.
Like, it's 8:00. You can no longer be in front of my face, but you don't have to go to sleep. So if you'd like to go in your room and lay down and like chillax for a little while, you are more than welcome to do that. You just can't be in front of me. Yeah. And so if you think about most things, right, that kids are going through, there are the hard stances that you have to take, but a lot, probably most of the other things, you don't have to take such a hard line on. And I'm every day trying to remind myself of that, even in things that don't seem life or death, or like I guess they are life or death. My kids really like to climb and jump off of everything.
Yeah.
And
most kids do.
Most kids. And so some kids are natural, like, avoiders of problems. You know what I mean? Like, they're risk averse. Some kids are risk averse. Most kids like are happy to jump off of whatever and then figure out what happens. And
oops, I broke my leg. Sorry, Mom.
Right. So I am trying really hard. I'm trying really hard to not always say to my kids, "Oh, don't do that. Be careful." But like, you can't do that. You can't do that, because then they never learn. You know what I mean? And then most recently, I heard someone talking. It's not new, but talking about the fact that we unconsciously, sometimes consciously, but most times unconsciously, we really use different language, different words, different encouragements for boys and girls. And I have 2 boys, so it's harder for me to see it in real time because I don't have a daughter, but there are girls in my program, and I want to make sure that I'm not always coddling the girls and not allowing them to stand on the top of the chair or like test their balance, or you know what I mean? Like,
or
I want
hold
them
their
to
own
be
with the boys.
Exactly. I want them to be safe, and they also don't belong to me, and I got to send them back in one piece.
Yeah.
But I also want them to feel like they are capable and able to. One of the little girls in my program is like a total adventurer and loves the dirt, and so I don't get worried about like, oh, your clothes are gonna get dirty, or oh, your fingernails, or was it like, she's always deep in the mud. And I love that about her. And I think her parents love that about her. And so even though she's only 1, I want to allow her to do that. I don't always want to like, and with a 1-year-old or even a 2-year-old, you can just sort of snatch them up so quickly. And often, I try really hard not to, like, can you imagine if you were minding your business, playing with something, and some giant came behind you and just like snatched you off your feet and redirected you and plopped you somewhere else? Like, it's Like, we would never do that to another adult. And
but it would also be traumatizing for the child.
Yeah, it's traumatizing for the child. It's just like, I was doing something.
Because they would learn to associate what they were doing with, if I do this again, what just happened that I don't want to happen again is going to happen again.
But not even in that case, because it's not always that they're doing something bad. It's just like, as an adult,
no,
we've
I'm just saying whatever they were doing.
Right.
If you distract them from whatever you were doing, no. You immediately run over. It's like you're associating something that they probably enjoy doing with being wrong, and it may not be the case.
And it may not be wrong. So I'm just trying, and some of the things that I've been listening to lately have just been saying to remember that children are whole entire beings, that it's not your job to fill them up. It's your job to support them. And that is not a normal is a difficult thing to say, but for lack of a better word, that's not a normal way that people think about children.
Mm-hmm.
The normal way that adults think about children is children are to be seen and not heard, and they're to do what I say, and they're to like not question me, and I know what's best. And I know that's generally how I grew up, and it's generally how my parents grew up.
That's definitely how I grew up.
You know what I mean? But I want to break that mold.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I want to break that mold, it's also difficult to fight that natural thing that's been ingrained in me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it's also difficult to manage whatever the new way you're trying to raise your kids against what how your community feels about it. I was just talking to a friend today, and she has family members coming to visit, and there are a lot of family members coming to visit, and her 2 kids have their own room, and she does not want to displace the kids to put some adults in their bed. She's like, this is their bed. This is their room. They're very comfortable and very happy to be in their room. Just because Auntie so-and-so and so-and-so is coming over doesn't mean that my kid has to sleep on the floor. Like, that's why I pay this money for this house for us to live in here.
Mm-hmm.
And the family is not, like, the family's upset. Like, what do you mean we can't come over because the kids need to sleep in their bed? You know what I mean?
Can bring air mattresses if you want, and then you can sleep on the...
You sleep in the living room if you want to.
Yeah, but no, this is their house.
It is, but they're only 5.
Doesn't matter.
No, I agree. I agree that it doesn't matter. And I also feel like this mom is well within her right to make whatever decisions she wants.
That's why I said it doesn't matter, because guess what? It's my house. I pay the mortgage and I pay the bills. And until you do all of that for me, you can't make the rules in my house. And the rules right now is my kid is going to sleep in their bed.
Right.
Nice and comfy, because that's how I can get the mofos to go to bed and stay there so that I can have some me time, pop a bottle of wine open, put it in that glass, and sip it down to death.
I know. So while you are trying to be on this newfangled path that is generally might be different from the one that you are used to being on, you just have to know that people are going to fight you every step of the way, and you're either going to kowtow to that, or you're going to insist that you're going to keep doing what you're doing with your kid.
Yeah, they're your children and it's your life, and you have a right to do it whichever way you want. Yeah. Because, as you mentioned many times before, parenting does not come with a book.
Nope.
There's no instructional manual. You do it, you go, it's as you go. The only thing that's consistent is the diaper changing and bathing and things like that. But the rest of it is you're doing it as you go.
Yep. And nobody's going to be better at taking care of your kids than you are.
That's right.
Unless you're the worst.
Yeah.
But generally, you are there for a reason. So it's, I think about my aunt and my uncle, and my cousins are free. They are free. Some of them are wild, but they're free, and they're all doing pretty well. They're still pretty young, so they have, there's still time for them to grow and really sort of flex in who they are, but they are free, and it's because my aunt and uncle raised them that way. So there's nothing wrong with whatever kind of choice that you make, as long as you're not physically or mentally or emotionally harming your kid, you're probably all right. So I wanted Skylar to come on because I see her as such a vibrant and free young woman, and I want my kids to feel that way. I want my kids to feel that way, and I want want to remind myself, and I want to hear this again in 10 years, and I want to keep listening to this to remember that I don't have to be like so hard on the edges, or like, you know, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine, and they're going to be more fine if I don't stress them out.
Yeah.
And that starts with potty training. So that's where I am.
And it doesn't have to happen by 2.
No, it doesn't have to happen by 2.
All right.
And then the last thing I just wanted to say is Skylar said something about supporting, like being in a community and supporting your community. And, you know, like she goes to her friends' shows, her friends come to her shows and that kind of thing. And that has actually come up for me a couple times this week in talking to some women that I know who are all either small business owners or starting small businesses, and making the change from here's the thing I used to do in my free time that I really love doing to here's the thing that I really love doing that I would like to make a business out of. I would like to bring money in. And I've been finding that it's really difficult, myself included, to turn off that mom brain that is trying to help everyone and like make sure things are great for everyone and not yourself. And turn on the boss brain that's like, here's my thing. I'm good at this thing. I'm the expert at this thing. And this is a service, whether it's a physical thing that I'm providing or my expertise, my time, my expertise, it is worth something. And it's not just, oh, I had a good time talking to you. I could talk about this all the time. Like, don't worry about it. Just give me a glass of wine. Like, it's not that if you don't want it to be. If you want it to be and you don't need the money and you don't want the money, then great. Have fun and talk as much as you want. Drink up as much as you want. But if it is something that you want to be a profession, which is actually a great thing, something you love to do that also makes you money, then we women have to make a conscious effort to fight every cultural norm that tells us that we shouldn't make the hard ask for the money or make the hard stance on what our price is, or demand the time we need to work on our business, or own whatever it is that you have decided you can do.
You have to find the value in what you love.
Exactly. Own it, value it, and make sure that other people see the value. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if it's make them see it, but make them see that you're serious about your shit. You know, like I'm fun Candace most of the time, but like this is a business. You know what I mean? And it's I find increasingly that it is very difficult to make that shift. And so what I've been trying to do it in the last couple weeks is turn off for even just a little bit, turn off that like, oh girl, we're just talking. Oh, we're just blah, blah, blah. And like talk businesswoman to businesswoman, like business owner to business owner. What are you thinking about? What do you need help with? What would help you move to the next step? What is stopping you from taking the next step in a way that I hope is coming off supportive and encouraging and intentionally poking to like incite a response
and like, push in the right way,
right? In the right way, knowing that this is with all the love in my heart because I want to see you succeed. Like I just told a friend of mine, I was like, I need someone to work on, like, I would like someone to make a logo for me. Do you know anybody? She's like, oh, I do it. I was like, okay, what is your price? I love a free thing just as much as the next person. But if I'm not encouraging and supporting my community of people who are just getting started, how can I possibly expect for people to support me? Like, if I can't support another small business, why would I think that people are gonna wouldn't I think that people are gonna try and get me to take care of their kids for free? You know what I mean?
You know, and that right there is the reason why Walmarts exist. Right. And not that we're hating on Walmart, but, you know, a lot of people don't realize that you have a lot of local businesses mm-hmm. that would really flourish if you really were to support the businesses within your community. Right. But that's why places like Walmart exist, because
they just undersell everybody and then put everybody
out of business. And then it really puts a strain and a struggle on those who are really trying to build mm-hmm. a community around the services that they're providing for the people who live around them and the people that work around on them. And I think it's important that you support your local grocer or your local, clothing store. It may not be the variety that you're looking for, but I can guarantee you that you'll walk in there and find something that you would like to wear. And you're helping someone. You're helping someone become successful, and you're helping someone stay in your neighborhood and not have all these, rundown homes or businesses that go out of business. Then you have nothing in there.
Yeah.
And so I just think that overall everyone wins when you support small business.
Yeah, I do. And I didn't know that before. I'm and most people are worried about your own bottom line. Like if it's $4 at Walmart and it's $13 somewhere else. But I even think in that statement is an overgeneralization and like a scare tactic. That it's not actually 3 times the price at the local place or the local person or whatever. And then the other thing that I realized this week and that I encourage people to do is, even if this isn't something that you knew you wanted to do since 2nd grade, that doesn't make it any less valid.
That's right.
As long as you're taking the steps to learn about it, research it, take a class, take a free class, pay for a class, whatever. Don't be afraid to start telling people, oh, here's a thing that I recently got interested in and have been working on, and now I make logos. It's like, really, Candace? I've never seen you draw a thing in your life. Well, listen, I don't even have to draw it, right? And I took a class, and now I know all these different cool ways to do this thing. Just because it's a new interest doesn't make it
any less
invalid. Yeah.
Or valuable.
Yeah. So go after that thing. Like, don't be afraid to go after something and become an expert in it, even if you haven't always been. I think like you surprise yourself and the people around you will be surprised, but then they'll fall in line. And the last thing I'll say is to make sure that as you're working on your idea, your business, your whatever, that you have some people that you can trust who care about you and care about your success and will give you honest feedback, and then talk to them and be open to the honest feedback. Don't hide what you're doing, especially from the people around who care about you, because then you're carrying that weight. You're carrying that weight is so heavy and it's so scary, and it is like, it's a really easy way to give up something.
Yeah.
And so I just learned about this thing. Have you ever heard of a brain trust?
No.
So a brain trust is a group of people who are generally from like lots of different areas or expertises or whatever. But you might, or I might be starting a business, and before I really launch, I want to make sure that I've had people poke holes in it. Well, does it do this? Or have you thought about this? And did you try that? And people that you trust and people who have different points of view and different experiences, so that you get a really well-rounded first look at this thing that you're doing, whatever that thing is. And then when you actually bring it to market, or whatever the term is, that it has the best chance of succeeding, because you're not going to get tripped up on some stupid little you know what I mean? Some stupid little thing, because you've had real legit people looking at it beforehand. So I am going to, I'm trying to fix my words, right? I am looking for 4 women who are interested in joining a brain trust with me, people who are at any varying stages of an idea or a business and want to take the next step. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not an expert in this stuff, but I know that when presented a problem, I have a good way of reacting to it, right? And of like figuring things out.
And providing feedback, because you're really good at
and that kind of thing. And so I would like for 4 women to join me over the next 3 months to see if we can help push each other forward. So I'm going to post something on Facebook. If you have any interest in that, please reach out to me and let me know, because I would really like to get started in the next couple weeks, because I'm super excited about the stuff that I'm working on. And I know that there are women around me who are also working on stuff. And if we're all doing it all doing it in secret, it's just a heavy weight to bear. So join me in the Breezy Mom's Brain Trust. Just decided that's what it's called.
And you know, and then once you guys get all together and figured it all out, we've got 4 chairs.
Yeah.
4 mics. You can sit down and talk about your experience, and hopefully that'll be a thing.
I love it.
I'll move out of this chair after I hit record and everything, and I'll just go sit in the other corner over there and watch the ladies go at it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So I'm serious about this. Please reach out to me if you're interested in joining the Breezy Moms Brain Trust. I think that was my Mom to Heart tip of the week, was to find 1 or 2 people that you can talk to. Like, I mean, they're friends. You have friends. Everybody's got friends, but you know which friends you can dream with.
Yes.
You know which friends, when you tell them some off the cuff shit, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool," as opposed to one who's like, "Girl, you crazy?" Right? Like, you don't want to do your business ideas with those friends. I have a
lot of those friends. You are nuts.
Yeah, because they'll just squash your dreams, even if they don't mean to. Their first reaction is the one that you're going to go with, and so you need to find some people who are going to help you dream and give you the space to dream and encourage you as you're on this, pretty difficult journey of starting something new, whatever that thing is. So that's my tip for the week, to make sure you find some good people to talk to.
So before we close and say goodbye, I would like to say that it's worth repeating. We are at that point in time of the season, and where allergies are going to be very rampant and in your face and in your nose and in your throat. And I wanted to also give you a little tip, which I've given here before, and I've said this: go to the dollar store, grab yourself like at least 6 or 7, maybe 8 pillowcases that are cheap. Keep them, and change your pillowcases during the season out every 2 days. Your kids are going to love you for it. You're going to love yourself for it, because a lot of people don't realize that
in your hair,
you bring that stuff on you and you lay on it, and then you put your face on it, and then all that pollen and stuff just ends up bugging you all night long. Change them out every 2 days. They're cheap, they're inexpensive, and then when the season is over, you can put them away. But it'll make your life a lot easier, and you'll breathe a lot better.
That's such a good point.
Make sure that you do that.
Yeah, that's really good. My kids are always James is always harassing me. I'm like, get your street clothes so you don't put street clothes in the bed. It's like, all year long you don't put street clothes in the bed, but definitely during allergy season you don't put street clothes in the bed, and you just bring all kind of nasty into your bed.
It just helps to sort of kind of get a good restful sleep if you don't have all that stuff on you.
And pull out your Vicks Vapor Rub, because
Vaporub,
that cool menthol breeze that comes in your nose, man, it's amazing. Anyway, with that, we're on all the places. I hope you enjoyed the show. Shout out to Skylar. Thank you so much for joining us. We have some great people coming up in the next couple weeks. Find us on all the places where you stream your podcast, and share the show. It's really important that you share the show so that other people find it. And we'll be back next week. Bye. This show is produced by Tom Ortiz at Digital Stream Radio. It's available for download on Podbean. Follow us at Facebook at Breezy Moms Podcast, or email us at breezymomspodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, don't stress, just breathe.